and welcome to the video lecture on mapping binary relationships into relations. This is the most common task that you will perform when you're moving from your ER diagrams into relations, because most of the relationships, especially in your project, are binary relationships. So we have one-to-manys, right? We have many-to-manys, and we have one-to-ones. They're all easy except for maybe the many-to-many, and the many-to-many we have to create a new relation, and that's going to be our associative relation, which you've probably already created if we've been working together to set up your ER diagram. You probably already have relations set up for your associative entities. So let's take a look. Here we've got the customer order relationship. We know that it's a one-to-many. We know that the customer ID is required. All right. So what we do is, again, right, note the mandatory one on the customer side. So a customer has to be associated with any orders. So when we're mapping the relationship, right, we map the relation for customer first, right? We've got a customer ID, customer name, customer address, customer postal code. Again, simplified. We don't have all the rest of the customer information in there for this example. And then we've got our order. So the order has the order ID and the order date. And what we do is we add in another attribute for the foreign key. And again, when we set this up, there should be no null values in the foreign key because of the mandatory minimum cardinality that we have in the entity relationship diagram. Let's take a look at the many-to-many. So now we've got an employee who completes courses and courses that can be associated with many employees. The completes relationship has an attribute of date completed. So completes, the relationship called completes, is going to become an associative entity. So let's take a look at that. So here we've got our employee. It has the employee ID, the employee name, the employee date of birth. The employee ID is the primary field. We're going to create course, and course is going to be comprised of the course ID and the course title. And then we're going to create an entity to take the place of the completes relationship. In this case, the author is calling it certificate. That's fine, which is comprised of the employee ID and the course ID taken from the employee and course tables. And we added the attribute for date completed because that was an attribute of the relationship. Moving on to a one-to-one, this is pretty much the same thing as the as a one-to-many, in that here we have a one-directional or a one-to-one relationship between nurse and care center, and the nurse is in charge of a care center on a particular date. So that's our one-to-one relationship. And then when we convert this, we'll see that our nurse has our nurse ID, her nurse name, her nurse date of birth, and then the care center takes on the date assigned attribute from the relationship along with a foreign key. And again, it could be optional, it could be mandatory, depends on your business rules. So that is the end of my video lecture on mapping binary relationships or transforming binary relationships into relations.